big part of Sydney's many attractions, especially Manly. This popular resort community is hosting the Manly Cleanwater Classic, the opening event on the ASP World Surfing Tour. Former world champions Martin Potter, Barton Lynch, and Damien Hardman have all been eliminated from competition. Young trialists have shocked the established pros. Stay with us for round number 1 of the Australian Grand Slam of Surfing here on ESPN. City. The harbor bridge and the white sails of the Opera House overlook the spectacular natural harbor. In just 15 minutes from downtown Sydney, on the hydrofoil is the popular seaside resort of Manly. Welcome back to Manly, New South Wales, Australia. We are just east of Sydney, right across the harbor at Manly Beach for the Manly Cleanwater Classic. This is the first event on the Association of Surfing Professionals 21 event World Tour. David Stanfield, with two-time World Cup of Surfing champion and the founder of the ASP, Ian Cairns. And Ian, let's talk about Manly Beach. There has been some surfing here, and it goes back into the early days of professional surfing.
Well, it certainly does. Manly Beach has great historical significance for Australian surfers. This is the site of the first ever World Surfing Championships, and it was won by an Australian, Bernard Midget Farrelly, a fantastic surfer, and he was really the forerunner of all of the great Australian champions.
Now, this beach isn't especially big, but it produces some great surfers. A lot of locals here, and they definitely have the advantage here at the Cleanwater Classic.
Well, they certainly do. A lot of great surfing talent. Barton Lynch from right here, former world champion, Robbie Bain, 5th in the world, and a lot of up-and-coming guys who surf against Barton and Robbie in club contests right here at Queenscliff. There's going to be a lot of support for everyone from Queenscliff Surf Club in this event.
A lot of people are excited about a major contest coming back to Manly, and what do they have to look for? They've got basic beach break conditions.
It's really tough stuff out here. Small beach break waves, closeouts on the sandbar. The guys really have to read the break, see where the waves can find their way all the way through to the inside. Of course, length of ride is important, and making it from the outside closeout all the way to the beach is going to be vitally important to score points.
It's the opening event on the World Tour, as we said. It's the opening event on the Australian Grand Slam. It's very important. The last 2 years, the surfer that has won the opening event went on to win the World Championship, mainly Martin Potter and Tom Curran. Where's Tom Curran?
Well, his wife's just having another baby back in France. He's decided not to show up. And, you know, Tom Curran's been on the tour and off the tour, and I would expect to see him come back with a vengeance later on.
Well, we have the locals out in force, and they dominated quarterfinal highlights. Let's take a look. In quarterfinal number 1, we saw two Aussies go at it, Bryce Ellis and Merrick Davis. Bryce Ellis from Avoca Beach is a former Australian junior champion and was the 1982 World Amateur Champion. Bryce has surfed countless heats in these types of conditions, but came up about 10 points shy of advancing during this morning's quarterfinals. Merrick Davis from the town of Harburg, which is only 3 kilometers up the road, is considered a local, and prior to this quarterfinal, Merrick had already surfed in 3 trials heats and 3 main event heats. Ian Cairns spoke with him after this win.
Well, I've got the semis of the trials to come, so I'm just going to take it heat by heat. I've got the semis of the trials, and then after that I've got to go back-to-back with the semis in the main event. So, you know, I'm just going to take each one as it comes.
The judges award Merrick Davis 76.3 points to Ellis's 66.8. In quarterfinal number 2, 2 more Australians, Tom Carroll and Richard Marsh. One of the most popular surfers in the world is 29-year-old Tom Carroll. The 12-year veteran and 2-time world champion has 24 career victories to his credit. The most recent win was just this past winter at the Marui Pipeline Masters, seen here on ESPN. But today was a day of upsets, especially...
Call me up. I'm going to be in town all this week, so if you want to get that track taken care of, let me know.
If you're a former world champion, 24-year-old Richard Marsh knocked off Barton Lynch in round number 3. Then in this quarterfinal number 2, Marsh had no problem with a small surf and outscored Tom Carroll by over 25 points.
Yeah, I think I sort of had the advantage with the smaller waves, but yeah, it's always good to beat Tom Carroll.
You seem to have a lot of zip and zap, a lot of speed with your manoeuvres.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to really get going out there, to come in the manoeuvre with speed and come out with more speed to keep yourself afloat.
Richard Marsh takes out Tom Carroll in quarterfinal number 2. In quarterfinal number 3, 2 dark horse trialists, Ryan Allegich and Robbie Sherwell. Australia's Robbie Sherwell stormed through the preliminary heats, then in the main event eliminated the talented Matt Hoy, last year's OP Pro winner Todd Holland, and California's dynamic Brad Gerlach, but met his match when he faced Ryan Allegich. First round trialist Ryan Allegich surfed in 7 heats in order to make it into the quarterfinals, and like in many heats previously, the waves were mostly closeouts and didn't offer a lot of scoring potential. It was Allegich's use of the wave priority buoy that ultimately gave him the win.
Yeah, well, I didn't think I was going to. Well, we caught a lot of closeouts. Not too many good waves come through in that heat, but I heard I was leading by 0.6, so I just raced around the priority buoy as quick as I could and tried to sit on him, and luckily no waves come through.
Ryan Allegich won by just 0.6 of a point, which put him into the semis. Quarterfinal number 4 saw Hawaiian Marty Thomas up against hometown favorite Rob Bain. 22-year-old Marty Thomas from Sunset Beach, Hawaii was seeded number 6 for this event. The California native moved to Hawaii at the age of 14, then joined the World Tour at the age of 18. For Thomas, it seemed he spent most of his energy in defeating the 1989 world champion Martin Potter in his previous heat. Manly, Australia's own Rob Bain actually began competitive surfing right here at this very beach. It was in 1981 when he joined the Queenscliff Board Riders. Then 4 years later, he turned professional. His knowledge of this beach break and growing up just right down the street gave him a clear-cut advantage. And when the heat ended, Ian Cairns asked him about his next opponent in the semis, his good friend Ryan Allegich.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm against my good mate, and we travel together, and we're going down to Bells together, so but there'll be no friendship in the water. I'll get him.
You'll get him.
I want to. Yeah.
Marty Thomas receives an equal 5th place while Rob Bain moves into the semifinals. Semi number 1, Merrick Davis versus Richard Marsh. Semi number 2, Ryan Allegich versus Rob Bain. 7 miles from Sydney and 1,000 miles from Care is Manly's slogan. The first seaside resort in Australia to attract large numbers of city dwellers and country visitors has restored itself to the glory days of the 1940s. Semi-final highlights coming up. Stay with us as the opening event of the Australian Grand Slam of Surfing continues. I decided to sponsor this surfing tournament in order to publicize that pollution is in check. Here at the seaside resort of Manly, Australia, you'll find clean beaches and clean water, and meanwhile, the local surf citizens are cleaning up the competition. And we really saw that in the semi-final. Semi-final number 1, a surf club member, a local. It was Merrick Davis up against Richard Dog Marsh.
Well, Merrick Davis surfs out here every day of the week. He knows exactly what's going to happen out here on these sandbars. They're very hard to read. And he had all of his Queenscliff club members just screaming and yelling and supporting him. He had home field advantage, and it really showed.
Here are the highlights. Semi-final number 1, Merrick Davis, 25 years old, Harvard, Australia, wearing the white jersey.
Merrick showing some really good form. Very smooth surfing on a pretty marginal wave. But this is really a hot wave for Merrick. Off the top once, around a big section, and right off the top again, a radical floater re-entry. Good surfing.
Richard Marsh, ranked number 22 in the world from Cronulla, Australia, was favored to win this semi, though.
Well, he certainly was. Richard Marsh, high on the ratings, surfs this kind of surf every day, should really clean up Merrick Davis, but he just doesn't seem to get any waves with any form. Backwards and forwards, he's going off the top, radical manoeuvre there, but still just white water on the face. No clean face moves for Richard Marsh.
And for Merrick Davis, the 3rd round trialist, it looked like it was another upset on this final wave.
Well, it certainly was. This was the winning wave for Merrick Davis. 2 gigantic maneuvers. It was exactly the hot surfing he needed.
Merrick Davis scores 80.5 points, while Richard Marsh turns in a 79.5 and receives an equal 3rd place finish. Semifinal number 2, Ryan Allegich versus Robbie Bain. And Ryan Allegich, not ranked in the top 48 of the ASP. Last year, in fact, he placed 61st overall, but he's not short on talent.
Well, that's certainly true, David. Ryan Allegich, a very smooth flowing surfer, carves off the top once, smooth floater again, very smooth and flowing surfer with a lot of power. He chooses a left hand, and we see the rhythm of once again, floater off the top into another floater. Excellent surfing, good quality surfing from Ryan Allegich.
But favored to win semifinal number 2 had to be the local, the 28-year-old veteran, Rob Bain.
Well, Rob's the elder statesman from this beach. Everyone was thinking that Robbie was going to clean up Allagich, but Robbie simply didn't get the waves. He was surfing very well, smooth off the top, floater moves, but the waves let him down. Whitewater on the face, no real big sections for him. Robbie Bain really needs a big section to do his big floater manoeuvre. That's his best manoeuvre. And on these sorts of waves where there's nothing in front of him, Robbie is struggling, doing good manoeuvres, good surfing, but just not enough. On the other hand, Allagich gets the one giant manoeuvre on this wave, perfect big floater manoeuvre, and that's history for Bain.
Ryan Allagich has had the luck, desire, and to win every heat. In fact, this one, a big upset over Robbie Bain. Allagich 83.1 to Robbie Bain 72.5. We have 2 trialists in the finals. Paddling out right now are the finalists of the Manly Cleanwater Classic. Let's talk about Ryan Allagich.
Well, Ryan Allagich is a super surprise. Just a total dark horse, comes out of the trials, surfing with really big major manoeuvres, spectacular surfing, not a thought in his head about anything but doing well. He's up against a guy he's surfed against all through his surfing career right here at Queenscliff. And Merrick Davis is probably really tired. He's been surfing in the trials and the main event all day today, so I'd say he's going to be almost totally burned out. So Ryan's a big chance.
The incentive, $10,000 going to the winner of this, the Manly Cleanwater Classic. Let's turn our attention to the water. And Ian, here's a look at the ASP judging criteria. What's going to be the most important today?
Well, Dave, obviously wave selection. When the wind is onshore, the swell is small, the waves are sloppy. Anyone who can get a wave with a good clean face is in with a chance.
And out the back with the first wave, Merrick Davis, the 25-year-old from right down the beach, Harbour Beach, Australia.
Merrick gets a wave with a nice clean face. This is going to be an excellent ride. A couple of off-the-top manoeuvres. Merrick really pushing hard, generating a lot of speed and power. He has to use his own legs to generate this speed and power. He pumps the board, bounces it up and down, moves it down the line, getting a lot of distance, snapping it off the top. This is an excellent starting ride for Merrick Davis.
And that judging criteria includes performance, which is length of ride. He goes all the way to the beach. Out the back, we have Ryan Allagich with his first wave.
Ryan looking very quick, very fast down the line, a right-hander, going against the grain really a bit in this break, but he's driving it so far down the beach, big manoeuvres, up, off the top, off the bottom, snapping a big re-entry, floats the fins out a little bit, snapping off the top again.
Good opening waves by our finalists, Merrick Davis and Ryan Allagich, and 2 high-scoring waves, actually.
Merrick Davis started off with that hot left-hander, scores 21.5, and Ryan Allagich, with that long right-hander, scores a 19 points. So both good starting waves, both surfers.
2 trialists making it all the way through the main event and into the finals.
And Ryan's up on his second wave, a really long, fast right-hander. Ryan right on the tail of his board, using a lot of speed and power, snapping off every available piece of whitewater. Jumping up and down, powering the board across a flat section, and links it up to the inside reform again. Ryan's really trying hard. He's trying to throw everything into his surfing here in the final.
Ryan Allagich, the local here. Plenty of fans on the beach cheering him on. And we look at that wave one more time. A good scoring wave.
It certainly is. Fast off the top manoeuvres, pumping up for another re-entry, snaps it off the top, staying right on the tail of his board, and that gives him the ability to spin it around quickly. Good scoring wave for Allagich.
Now we have Merrick Davis in white.
Merrick's paddling for a wave, just crumbling at the top. Nice little reform there. Merrick Davis pumping off the bottom, off the top, snapping very hard, spinning the fins out, carving it around. Merrick seems to be choosing these left-handers, whilst Ryan goes for the right-handers. Merrick knows there's a reform section on the inside here, and that's what he's aiming for. Riding the wave in the whitewater, very, very difficult to make the board move, but Merrick Davis is able to find another inside section and just keeps on getting distance and distance.
And earlier today, they had a trials final, actually, with money set aside only for trialists, and he placed 3rd in that event. He's been surfing all week long, all day long. So, as you mentioned, he might be a little tired out. Merrick Davis with another good wave. 20 points on this wave.
Well, it's obvious why. He's snapping it hard off the top, then brings it up, a whitewater floater. Excellent surfing from Merrick Davis at the start of the final.
Now here's Ryan Allagich with his 3rd scoring wave.
Really difficult late takeoff on his backhand. Ryan now goes off on the face. Big slashing moves, Really smooth surfing, but still very fast and powerful, and he gets an inside connection, a little bit of a right-hander, and he's going to jump it up and try and go all the way into the beach. Very, very good surfing, connecting all of these sections together. This is hard surf to ride, but Alagich is making the most of it.
And he paddles back out, and an appreciative crowd on hand looking at this one more time. Big spray, 22.2 points.
Excellent surfing. Big maneuver after big maneuver. That was the kind of wave that Alagich needs to get into this final.
With a break in the men's final as they paddle back out, let's take a look back at highlights of the women's finals. We saw Jody Cooper, ranked number 3 in the world from Albany, Western Australia, up against the defending world champion Pam Burridge from right up the beach, Newport, Australia.
Jody starts off really strong, fast, down the line moves, floaters, cutting back, looking very, very good and keen for this final. Pam Burridge, world champion, looking very quick as well, slashing off the top and lots of movement on this small left-hander. But Jody starts to make a few mistakes, catches an edge, doesn't get down over the white water quick enough, and meanwhile Pam picks up the pace. Stringing together really good manoeuvres, backwards and forwards, lots of energy. Pam Burridge really pumping it up in this final. Jody Cooper, on the other hand, starts to make another mistake. Looking very sloppy and loose, yet trying too hard, I think. But Pam Burridge, smooth floater off the top. She's doing some great surfing in the final.
The 25-year-old Pam Burridge, a 10-year pro veteran, begins the new season with this important win, the 15th of her career. And after this win, Ian Cairns asked if this win proved that she did not peak last year.
Well, it does. It shows me that that wasn't the peak of my career. I didn't like win the world title and sort of retire.
Congratulations going both to Pam Burridge and Jody Cooper. A great women's event. Back to the men's main event. Final, Alagich with the lead, 3 scoring waves, and now Merrick Davison-White, his 3rd wave.
Great start to this wave, big snap off the top. Merrick still looking very hot, needs a big wave to come back, but a little error there. Merrick may be showing some fatigue, surfing all day, and in small waves, you need to have the leg strength. That's what's going to give you your speed and the power to be able to pump across these small inside sections. If you don't have that leg strength, you're not able to do the big maneuvers. There you go. Merrick Davis now makes 2 mistakes on this one wave. I think his legs are just about dead.
Well, the judges' scores are going to come in, and that will tell the tale of exactly what they think of Merrick Davis on this wave. 18.5, not a big scoring wave for his 3rd wave. Remember, Alagich scored that big 22.2. And as we look right now, Merrick Davis has a total of 60 points. Alagich with a slight lead by 0.7 of a point.
Well, Alagich with the lead now picks up another wave. It looks like a good wall in front of him, flying down the line, and a massive floater covered up, comes out of it. Fantastic surfing. That's the kind of surfing that a champion needs to pull out of the hat right at the end of a final. Really strong surfing. Alagich now pulling off small inside maneuvers, finishing this wave off just perfectly. Great maneuver on the outside. Now just finishes off very cleanly. He knows he's doing well.
And Ryan Alagich's mates on the beach give him a standing ovation for this big outside move.
Well, so they should, David. An incredible floater re-entry covered up by the white water, a top maneuver.
17 points, his 4th scoring wave. He is in the lead right now. It is up to Merrick Davis to take this wave right now and score at least 18 points for the win. He needs a 17.8, in fact.
Well, Merrick Davis is starting to look a little bit slower. He was much more lively early in the heat, trying to pump up that speed. Still surfing well, but is it enough? This wave's letting him down. You can see his legs just losing strength right at that point, and he needs all of the leg strength he can get to be able to do the last maneuvers on the inside. Catching an edge, a medium wave. I don't think it's going to be good enough.
The closing moments of this, the Manly Cleanwater Classic. There is the horn, and the finals are history. Here's a look at that final wave for Merrick Davis.
Great big maneuver on the outside, but you need to follow it up with lots more maneuvers. This is still a good floater re-entry, but you can see his legs don't have the same sort of snap, movement and power. 17.5, and that gives Ryan Alagich the win.
Indeed, Ryan Alagich, hosted by his surfing mates, and parades down the beach. 77.7 to 77.5, $10,000 richer, the 20-year-old from Queenscliff, Australia. Right now, let's take a look at some of Sydney, Australia's beautiful coastline. When we return to the Manly Cleanwater Classic, we'll speak with our champion, Ryan Alligich. Stay with us. Australia, and round number 1 of the ASP World Tour, the Manly Cleanwater Classic. And on stage, the official presentation.
Firstly, the runner-up with 77, sorry, the winner first is Ryan Alligich with 77.
And it is official, Ryan Alligich, $10,000 richer, wins the opening round of the Australian Grand Slam. Once again, he wins by 2/10 of a point. And Ryan Alligich is with Ian Cairns right now. Ian?
Ryan Alligich, a fantastic effort out there today.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I can't explain how I feel right now.
Well, I think I can understand. You know, winning your first contest is just a real stoker, isn't it?
Yeah, like, furthest I've gone previously was a 33rd, and I beat that last Thursday when I beat Simon Law, and I just kept going from there, and now I've won a contest. I can't believe it.
It's fantastic. When that whole tunnel came, as you came out of the water there, and you had to run up amongst your mates.
Yeah, they love doing that, the boys. A lot of, you know, they helped me a lot. They were cheering, and it was good.
Is this the start of a big career for Ryan Alligich?
I hope so. I'll see what happens down at Bell's in the Coke in a couple of weeks.
Well, congratulations, and yeah, good luck for the rest of the tour.
Thank you.
Out of nowhere, an unseeded trialist. Beginning in round number 1 on Tuesday, Ryan Alligich goes all the way and wins the Manly Cleanwater Classic, round number 1 of the ASP World Tour, round number 1 of the Australian Grand Slam. We leave beautiful Sydney. Our next stop, Bells Beach, Victoria, Australia. Another look at our champion, Ryan Alligich, and runner-up, Merrick Davis. But make no mistake, the world champions that were knocked off, Martin Potter, Tom Carroll, and the rest, they'll be back. Air transportation for the cast and crew provided by Air New Zealand. Accommodations provided by the Manly Plaza Inn. For Ian Cairns, I'm David Stanfield. So long from Australia.